Hey, this is Rob Minton and welcome back to another Cash Flow video. In this video, we are going to talk about one aspect of this book, The Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. I've already talked about this, but I'm going to talk about it again today. The idea is about building pipelines, right? And I'm recording this video mainly for myself. You'll see why here in a second, but my guess is that it will actually be very helpful for you too. The book opens with this little story about a village, and I've talked about this story in a recent video, but the village needs water, so they hire two different people. They get the first person, and this person gets 2 buckets, and he runs down to the water source, grabs the water from the river or the lake or whatever, and he runs back and he pours it into the water container, and he keeps going back and forth all day. He does this 6 days a week. He takes Sundays off because he's a slacker. The little village now has water, but the problem is it's kind of dirty because his buckets aren't super clean and it's inconsistent, right? They go through it very quickly. The second person disappears. They don't see him for 3 months, and then he comes back and he has a plan to build a pipeline. And then they build a pipeline, and then the little village has clean water that pumps into the village 24/7, and they live happily ever after. Now, there's a part in this little story that is very important to consider. I'm going to just read it from the book. Instead of buying 2 buckets to compete with Ed, Bill had written a business plan. He created a corporation. He found 4 investors. He employed a president to do the work, and he returned 6 months later with a construction crew. Within a year, his team had built a large volume stainless steel pipeline which connected the village to the lake. The year, that's the thing I want to talk about here in this video. To build a pipeline requires time, dedication, discipline, effort, potentially financial investment. This is very difficult for many people, including myself, is that when you are building a pipeline, you typically do not see results for a long period of time. It depends on what the pipeline is, but you are working without any result. The person who goes to haul buckets, that person gets a result very quickly, right? They haul buckets for a week and then they get a paycheck. That is why it's so attractive to get a job, right? It's because you know that you will get paid for your effort. And anytime you are working on a pipeline, there is no guarantee of payment. There's no guarantee of benefit. And this is why I am recording this video. Several months ago, I set a goal to record and publish a minimum of 3 YouTube videos every week. I got this plan up and rolling, and I was recording videos consistently, and I was publishing them. And my goal was to just make the videos, right? Not to worry about any metrics, to just record videos, to get better, improve my skill, to create these little evergreen assets, knowing that at some point in the future, I would receive benefits from this effort. In other words, recording YouTube videos is a pipeline activity for me, and I might have to work on this pipeline for a long period of time before I see any results whatsoever. I understood this situation before starting this goal. As usually happens, life knocked on the door and I got knocked off my plan. A couple of weeks ago, we had a really bad storm. 4 separate tornadoes hit our area, massive amounts of damage. We lost power for like a week. We had no Wi-Fi and internet for a period of time because the cell service was knocked out in our area. And I stopped recording videos. Before I started to record videos again, I started to question it, right? I was considering my metrics and I'm like, man, this does not seem like a good use of my time. Like, this is not worth it. And so because I let that thought enter into my noggin, I didn't record videos for a while. This is why I'm coming back to this book, is because it's a reminder to me and hopefully to you, is that if you are working on a pipeline activity, you have to keep in mind that you are not going to see results for a period of time. And I define a pipeline activity as any activity where you are investing your time and or your money with the hope of receiving 1 or more future benefits. A great example I like to use is exercise. Let's say you have a goal to lose body fat to get in the best shape of your life. That is the end goal. And your pipeline to get to that goal is you have to exercise, you have to change how you eat, you have to be disciplined, and if you continue to follow your plan, at some point in the future, you will achieve your goal. So you start out week 1, you're killing it, right? You're working out, you're eating right, but you're sore, you're tired, and then at the end of the week, you step on the scale and maybe you don't see the result you want, or you look in the mirror and you're like, damn, you would think I would look a little bit better, and you don't, right? That's just how pipeline activities are. So maybe you do it another week, and you step on the scale and you look in the mirror, and then before long you start to question, like, this is this worth it? Is all this hard work, pain, suffering, is this all worth it? And more than likely you quit. And I know this because I've done this numerous times myself. So if you go to one of my websites, you'll see a tab for the Cashflonaire podcast. Several years ago, I started a podcast. I think I recorded maybe 7 or 8, maybe 9 of them. And then I evaluated the results of it. And I was like, this isn't worth it. I'm investing all this time and effort and spending money to get these things edited, and it just is not worth it. So I gave up on it. That is so frustrating to me because had I stuck with it, who knows where that pipeline would have taken me today? Like, who knows the opportunities that would have come from it? Who knows? So it's very frustrating to me to look back on pipelines that I started and walked away from. Which is why I'm recording this video, right? In the process of building another pipeline, YouTube videos, and I am in this phase of, is it worth it? That question is so damaging. So anytime that thought comes in your head, you have to just kind of like cancel. You cannot allow that thought to come into your head. So I thought I would cover maybe 2 ideas that you might be able to use to help stay with your pipeline activities. And I'm far from perfect with this myself, so keep that in mind. But the first way is to consider yourself to be a bricklayer, like an incredibly talented bricklayer. Some wealthy family hires you to build this beautiful brick building. They have architectural plans, they have everything's kind of laid out. Week 1, you start to build this wall for this building. You make a little bit of progress, and then week 2, you make a little bit more progress. Week 3, a little more progress, but week 3, it's humid. It's just miserable. You're dripping. You just feel like crap. And you look at this one, you're like, this is going to take me forever. Like, this is not worth it. The problem is that bricklayer is getting paid. It doesn't really matter to him what happens in the future. What matters is that he gets paid for the work that he performs. We do not get paid for the work that we perform. We only benefit if we continue to lay bricks, right? So that bricklayer is following a plan. And when that plan is finished, he's going to have a beautiful building. He knows that his effort will produce the result. We do not have that same benefit. I think it's very helpful to try to keep in your mind what you are working toward. Instead of looking at your current situation, shift your focus to the future. What are the benefits that you will receive from the pipeline that you are working on? So if you're exercising, what are the benefits you're going to receive in a year from now? If you're working on a business, what are the benefits a year, 2, 3 years from now? If you're investing in real estate or whatever, stock market, you have to be focused on the future result, not your day-to-day performance. So this really is just about keeping your mental picture of your end result kind of primary and thinking about that mental picture every single day, making that the focus, not your current results. And the second thing that potentially could be helpful is to try and look for small situations where you have a positive result or a positive impact. And let me share this story. Last year, I took a course that was created by Doberman Dan. Now, Doberman Dan is an incredible copywriter. His ability to sell via the written word is phenomenal. After the course, Dan and I became friends and we stayed in touch. He had shared recently that he was very frustrated because he was promoting a product via email marketing and the product wasn't selling. And because it wasn't selling, he started to question his ability to sell with words. I replied to him like, hey, wouldn't it be so much better if we could evaluate our performance based on the impact that it has on other people and not the money that is generated? Dan's course was very helpful for me, regardless of the amount I invested into it. And this is the point I was trying to share with him is like, instead of focusing on the result that you're receiving or the lack of result that you're receiving, focus on the benefits that your service or product potentially has on your customer. I could take that idea and install it into my thinking with the YouTube videos. So even though my videos aren't very good, I don't have a ton of views or whatever, I don't have any great metrics. If one of my videos is helpful for just one person, that's a W. That small benefit is something I should use as fuel to continue doing this. So the goal isn't great metrics. The goal is to be useful. The goal is to be helpful. The goal is to improve somebody else's life in some way. If there's a way you can go beyond the metrics that we all try to optimize for whatever it is you're doing and think through other benefits that are available to you or other benefits that come from what you're doing, I think that might be potentially helpful. All right, let me wrap up this video with one more little bit from my main man's book, Robert Kiyosaki's book. This is at the end of chapter 2. Regardless of what you decide, please remember this. Financial freedom might be free, but it does not come cheap. Freedom has a price. And to me, it is worth the price. The big secret is this: it takes neither money to be financially free nor a good formal education. It also doesn't have to be risky. Instead, freedom's price is measured in dreams, desire, and ability to overcome disappointments that occurred to us all along the way. Are you willing to pay the price? That is what I'm trying to talk about in this video. When you are building a pipeline, you are going to experience disappointments, struggles, problems, challenges. You have to keep building that pipeline. You have to keep doing it, going through whatever you have to go through to get what you're trying to get. I hope this helps. By the way, it would be a big help if you subscribe to my channel. I think that's helpful for YouTube. So however you subscribe and maybe like the video. That would be a big help if this video was helpful for you in any way. All right, that's it. I got to go work on some other pipelines. Have a great one. Catch you in the next video.